Hey y'all, this is Lydia. I find it interesting that there's a lot of energy right now about being present and being deeply receptive to the present moment and what we feel in it and how we experience it. And this idea of just being as a way to open up to a level of receptivity. And there's a lot in the astrology and just in the energies in general about this receptivity actually being an access point to our personal power. In particular, there have been some recurring themes like Princess Diana keeps coming up, Venus keeps coming up, and in particular, Chariklo, who is the wife of Chiron, Chiron is one of the centaurs. He deals with our wounds and our healing and our birth chart. And Chariklo deals with our ability to tend to the sacred details and to devote ourselves to sacred space so that we can facilitate healing. She is Venusian. In fact, she was an assistant and very close friend to Venus, Athena, in the mythology. And it's interesting how all of this is sort of interplaying in this idea of being deeply compassionate and receptive to what we're experiencing in our lives and we're experiencing in the world at large as a way to step into power and to step into healing. And I printed out this worksheet by Melanie Reinhardt about Chariklo because she specializes in the centaurs. And a few themes that struck me were the ability to witness. We find her often doing invisible work, sometimes literally. She works with transitions, as in being born, giving birth, and dealing with illness or dying. But she also deals with being a midwife from one way of being and one way of living into another. So she helps guide us through transition. And what struck me the most was she's also known as graceful spinner or spinning grace. And we're in the 22nd gene key in the gene key system of grace under pressure. And it may be that just as she spins, she can also unravel the tangled knots we sometimes encounter in the psyche, perhaps spinning an invisible felt order from chaos. And I found that amazing because what we're going through right now, especially within the astrology of just transforming within ourselves, is we're being asked to be present. We're really being asked to have grace under pressure because I feel that a lot of us are feeling tired, feeling a little spent by the state of the world, perhaps even over engaging it, and that energy taking us out of our sacred space and into chaos. And Chariklo is a powerful facilitator in bringing that all back. And I believe in the astrology, she's with Venus right now and Mars in Aquarius, and bringing us back to that sacred space and bringing us back into the center of being able to find our power and our stability and our balance in the present moment, and being also able to sit in the present moment despite the chaos around us, sort of like being in the eye of the storm, so that we can take time to unravel what we've been experiencing, to really get some space in between all the moving parts, so that we don't feel so overwhelmed or shut down or burnt out by feeling like we're in a reality where we have no power, we have no control over what's happening. And really, this takes a deep level of trust and faith, but it's this idea of we're all taking care of ourselves and we're all living in the highest love and light, that we're bringing that to the collective as well. And there's this sense too of us realizing the impact of how we live our lives and our state of being within ourselves, and how that's constantly being shared and uploaded. And when we interact with people in our day-to-day lives, they're interacting with also our state of being, our energetic field, our aura. And we can really actually take powerful creative license into shaping that and being very intentional in how we shape our energy so that we can bring it to the world, that we can bring it into our interactions, and also just be in a sense of balance and hold that sense of balance in the world at large. And I think that's what Chariklo wants for us, especially with Venus and Mars with her right now crossing over her. There's this idea of opening up to not only being okay with the severing that's happening and the conflict that's happening, and seeing the deeper wisdom by being the witness of what's happening, and not attaching to ideologies, not attaching to what this person is saying or what this news outlet is saying, but really being present to feeling into it ourselves, and seeing that this idea of good and evil and right and wrong and good and bad is an illusion, and that it's the world at large that needs our prayers right now, not just any one group of people. There's a lot of pain in the world, and it's expressing in very potent ways. And I think especially with war breaking out, there's this density, this heaviness that's on people's hearts, and we're being reminded to step into the eye of the storm, to find that sacred center within ourselves, so that we can gain some space and be the witness, and really be intentional about the energy we bring into our lives and the energy we bring into the world, knowing that that's the energy we share with anyone we come in contact with the world at large. We're all connected as human beings. And it's interesting too that Princess Diana keeps coming up, because she's a very Venusian person. She was all about balance and peace, and she was such a tender spirit. And in her tenderness, we can also see that she was also very strong. There's a strength in her gracefulness, and she really did embody that Chariklo energy. I wonder where Chariklo is in her chart, but we're being reminded that when we're deeply receptive and accepting of the present moment, we step into this whole new level of power and freedom that we didn't know was possible. And I wanted to say that, and I wanted to share that because I'm feeling a lot of shadow coming up, especially in my own life, of dealing with these last little bits of things that are very painful for me coming to the surface, for me to really be compassionate and accepting of my core wounds, and how I am wounded and how that plays out in my life and my actions and my perceptions. And it's a very tender work, and it's a very, it can be heavy. And Chariklo here is reminding us that that density can be transmuted, that with devotion and with this witness consciousness of being present with what we're feeling, we actually release it and we start to transmute it and alchemize it into something far, far different. And the end of this printout says, where is it? With the help of Chariklo, we can perhaps embrace this pressure, soften around it, and explore these darkly luminous states while remembering the light of the diamond. So she's this idea of diamonds forming under pressure, and the beauty of pressure, and the beauty of darkness, and even the creative power within darkness as well, as we deal with our own darkness and deal with our collective darkness, and as we confront this world together. And again, with the astrology, we're being reminded to stay in the light, to stay in our sacred center, so that we can bring that energy to the whole, and to really trust that that has an impact, and that is something that's worth putting our energy behind and putting our energy into. So I'm sending love and wishing you well.